When Abraham Lincoln spoke, everybody listened, right? One of our greatest leaders, renowned for his ability to bring people together, to form consensus, to look into the eyes of widows, of terrified soldiers, and of rivals, and have them felt seen. His empathy was legendary. But there are countless recollections of how Lincoln looked when he was in repose, when nobody was looking at him. He looked so sad. His former law partner said the melancholy dripped from Lincoln as he walked. The consensus of scholars now is Lincoln was clinically depressed. He was chronically depressed. He had been through a lot of trauma. But Lincoln was open about it. More than that, his entire life, from when he was a young lawyer to when he was president of the United States, he had people around him who took him in, who fed him, who lent him money, and who sometimes hid the razors from him. When he felt the hypo, he called it the hypo, when he felt moments of the hypo coming on, the people around him knew, and they helped him. And he channeled his experience with such deep pain into that empathy, into that understanding that he's so famous for. Great leaders know themselves. And I think of these two leaders, of these two champions, Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka. I wish that they weren't so famous for their mental health crises. I wish we lived in a world where having mental illness did not merit an interview on the Today Show or the front page of a newspaper. Simone Biles in an interview said that when she pulled back from Tokyo, she felt so guilty. She felt like she was letting everyone down, her team, her country, all the people who had supported her along the way. She felt guilty and she blamed herself. And she felt alone in her mental illness. But through therapy, through healing, as David said, she realized that she needed to take care of herself. It wasn't her fault, and she could ask for help. Great leaders know themselves. And this is me. This is me getting TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is a very horrible experience of spending several days in a clinic wearing electrodes on your head and getting your brain zapped for 8 minutes every hour, in hopes that your clinical depression, which medication isn't working on, will shift. I have bipolar II disorder, and that means that sometimes I'm hypomanic, I'm super up, the world is my oyster, I'm like, woo, I'm on fire. And then at times in my life, I've been so depressed that I can't be alone, that people are scared for me, and that I have to get all kinds of different weird treatments. But this is also me. This is me 2 days ago in London being nominated as one of the world's most influential leadership authors and thinkers. That wasn't meant to be an applause line, but thank you, I appreciate that. I didn't win. I'm both people. I'm a mess. And I am that person. And I'm a mom, and I'm a wife, and I'm a friend, and I'm a leader. And I am always both people. And for me, my constant traveler is anxiety. I can't get rid of it. David, I have been through more cognitive behavioral therapy. I have been through so many different kinds of therapy. I have been on 25 different medications in my life, psychiatric medications. And I'm doing great. I live my life fully. But I have an anxiety disorder, and it's not going away. We all feel anxiety, and we need anxiety. Anxiety is an emotion that has kept us alive for millennia because it's a threat response. It senses that something may not be okay and that we need to get on our guard. We feel more energy, we get jumpy, we get a little shaky. Anxiety often exists in the future, and sometimes it's triggered by the past. But as David said, you're rarely in the present when you have anxiety. And we all feel anxiety, and there's good anxiety. Before I came on stage, I felt great anxiety. I'm here with you all. I want to do a good job. I want to make Larry happy. And I feel a lot of anxiety. But I care deeply, and that's okay. It's totally appropriate that I feel anxiety, right? When you're up against something that's going to push you, that tests you, it's good to feel anxiety, and it motivates you. And that's what neuroscientists call good anxiety. Anxiety is kind of on a spectrum. In the middle of the spectrum is what a lot of us feel right now. Chronic anxiety. A sense that things aren't really okay, that danger lies ahead. We feel it at work, and that danger might just be our 4 p.m. sales meeting with someone that we really don't want to talk to. And our body thinks there's a threat. And the world right now is really anxiety-provoking. There is grief, there is trauma, there is ambient anxiety. We've been through a pandemic. Our economic systems aren't working. A lot of systems aren't working, right? And so we feel anxiety. And so many of the leaders that I work with every day wake up with this chronic anxiety, and it's like a drain. But it's not quite a mental illness. I have anxiety. That's a mental illness. And that means that sometimes I have panic attacks. And sometimes I can't leave my bed. And sometimes I have to leave. I left the White House once. I was at the White House at an event, and I was so anxious, I actually booked a flight. I just felt this sense of panic, like I have to get out of here. I don't know if any of you have ever had that feeling. It's a terrible feeling. I'm a perfectionist. I worry a lot. I always worry the people I love are going to die. That's my anxiety. But I'm in a relationship with it. Because after decades, I know that it's not going to go away. For whatever reason, I was born this way. And I have to manage it. And the truth is, sometimes my anxiety is kind of great. My book is called The Anxious Achiever. Because anxiety can be really a double-edged sword for a lot of us. We use it. It propels us. We tick those boxes, we achieve, we set ever higher standards, right? So sometimes it works for us until it doesn't. And that's the double-edged sword, and that's the work that a lot of us have to do. And the thing is, you know, when you have a chronic condition, you're always on a healing journey. I've been on a healing journey for a long time, and I wanted to just share a few things. The first is that you've got to try to find joy, and joy is a practice. You can learn to cultivate joy. And for me, in my darkest hours, forcing myself to literally remember a time I was joyful, or just find joy in something small, like my cat, really helps. The second is recovery. We're not good at recovering and taking care of ourselves. But when you have chronic mental illness, You need to build in recovery seriously, like an athlete. You need to keep your body as healthy as possible so that your mind can stay as healthy as possible. The third piece is psychiatry. I wouldn't be here today without it, in my opinion. I'm not telling you what to do, but a lot of us feel a lot of shame around taking medication. But I know for sure that without therapy and without psychiatry, I wouldn't be standing in front of you today. And the fourth piece is creativity. That sounds weird, but when you can find the spark, even in the middle of the darkness, to propel you through, you keep showing up. And what I learned, and I'm just going to share 3 quick ahas with you, is that my mental illness actually makes me really creative. And there's actually data to support this. People who have bipolar disorder, who have certain mental illnesses, people who have ADHD, our brains seek dopamine. We find solutions. We are creative. And when I am in a hypomanic state, I am so creative. It's when my books have been written. It's when my businesses have been started. My mental illness is part of who I am. Now, I'm not saying my mental illness is great. My mental illness is terrible. But the experience of being at peace with it and treating it and taking it seriously, of being strong and resilient and asking for help and seeing pain in other people because I know what that feels like, that's part of what makes me great. And that can be true for you too. The second piece, and David, you talked about pushing through. You know, we're taught to push through, right? I've heard it actually a couple times, even though I've been here. I'm tired, but I'm just going to push through. We're scared of emotions in the context of work. We're scared of uncomfortable emotions like anxiety or anger in the context of work. We're taught to lead despite how we feel. But when you lead because you know how you feel, and you can manage those emotions appropriately and even use them strategically, you're a better leader. The emotions go somewhere, right? They don't disappear. And when we lead despite our emotions, we often act them out. We put them into our bodies. They go bad places. When we know what our emotions are and we can name them, we're better leaders. We're stronger. And my third aha moment, and this is where the magic is, and this is a lot, I think, of what cognitive behavioral therapy is about, is that the magic is in how we respond to the strong emotions and how we respond to the strong feeling of anxiety. We have agency there. I don't know if you've ever felt like you go to a meeting and someone is just full of anxiety. Oh my God, they're so anxious, the deadline's not gonna happen, and they better do this and they better do this. And how do you feel in that experience? Anxious. It's like you just absorb it. So many times, and often we're raised to absorb people's emotions. We just take it on. Or sometimes we feel when we're anxious, there's nothing to do about it. But what I've learned in therapy is that I actually have more agency in how I respond. I can choose not to take on that person's stuff. I can say, that's about you and your anxiety, not mine. We can't control the world. We can't control a global pandemic. We can't control other people. And we can't really control what triggers us either. But when we understand our emotions and how they show up and what our triggers are, we have more choice. And I'll tell you what, when that is your team and that is your boss, and they are in touch with their emotions and they are not just acting them out all day, work, school, life. It's a lot better experience for everyone. And that's why I'm so passionate about the work I do. You all have a copy of my book. And the thing that I really, 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 if you manage anxiety, or you're going through an anxious time, you have a friend who does, is to help get you to a place, and I really recommend therapy and professional help for this, where if you feel like anxiety is draining you, like you're in chronic worry, like your brain is a swirl and it just won't stop. You know that feeling when it's the middle of the night and your brain is a swirl and it just won't stop? Or you're overthinking, or you feel so much pressure. We've talked a lot about imposter syndrome today. That's anxiety. That's a worry, a feeling that I'm not good enough, that I will be judged, that something will go wrong and it'll be my fault. But I've learned that even though I can't cure my anxiety, it's just an emotion. And I can manage it, and I can even learn from it. And it starts with understanding how anxiety shows up for you. It shows up for us all differently. Some people feel it very physically. People tell me they feel it like a tingle in their body. Some people feel it, chest gets tight, their muscles get tight, their appetite changes, their brain starts to feel busy. They hear a song looping in their head like it can't stop. Anxiety is really personal. But if you find that you're often feeling anxious, like that brain can't stop, understanding what's happening, why that emotion is showing up for you can be so powerful. Because it's like the National Weather Service. It's like radar. It's telling you, something's off for me. I'm feeling this way. My nervous system is sensing something. Something's not right. And this is some of the most powerful work you can do for your leadership, for your family, for the people you love, and for yourself, is to start to tune in. For many years, when I felt anxiety come on, I drank. I just had a drink. It made the anxiety go away for about 2 hours. And then I felt bad. You know, and that's what a lot of us do. We're conditioned to do that. But when we learn when it's coming, what it feels like, and eventually why, we get the choice of how we respond. And so I just wanted to close by doing nothing. Because that's really the first step, is tuning in and getting mindful, playing detective, as my friend Rebecca Harley says. So I would love you all just to put your feet on the floor, uncross legs and arms, and you can close your eyes. And sometimes to tune in, you could put your hand on your sternum or your heart and feel your heartbeat. Put your 2 fingers on your wrist and feel your pulse. And try, if you can, to just send your breath as far down into your belly as you can. And pay attention to that heartbeat or your pulse or your breath. Listen to that beat. Let your shoulders down. If your mind wanders, just feel your heartbeat, feel your breath. Open your eyes and think about how you feel. Do you feel different than you did? My shoulders came down about 2 inches. And that's the first step. Thank you.